Hello, hi you, how you doing? I just got home from work and I wanted to get this out there. It's December 15th right now, so this will be published on the 16th. I wanted to show you my mid-month completed pages, and if my count is right, I've done 10. So really good, really good. So I'm going to move this aside and let's look and see what I've done. All right. So, first of all, of course I'm working in Matchstick Mouse Christmas. Of course I am. And in this one, I have to reach over and look at my book. This was a group page. Nope, this one wasn't. This was the candy cane. And yes, there was a small group of us that did this one. And I'm going to be posting my groups either at because not everybody's finished. These are just pages I've happened to finish by the 15th. There's no pressure on my groups to finish, but I'm going to remember this time, because it's only my second month doing this, and putting the whole groups, all of the groups' pictures, either at my end of the month, so you can see them all together, end of the month completed pages video, or on Instagram so that you can see them all together. But this was not the sledding page. I did the sledding page in another book, Candice. This is the candy cane page. And the neat thing about this page was that the black and the white on the candy cane was already there. So it sort of lent itself to be a dark candy cane. So I just went with that and colored the stripes that were white red. So it was black and red. Everybody in the group had some really cool effects on the candy cane, and really I sort of stole all of this. I added more white to it to make it even more shiny, almost like glass. And then I spent a very long time making very many mistakes with these light bulbs. This is proof. I should have filmed it, because this is proof that acrylic covers everything, because light sourcing is something I love to do, and I'm still learning how to do. And I'm always surprised when it turns out. It did not turn out on these guys. So I just kept having to go over it with different things to try to make it look right. And I kind of got there in the end. It's not exactly right. They're all a little bit different in the techniques that I used. But the most important thing to remember when you are doing light sourcing is to color anything that the light might shine on, right? So this red light's going to shine here, it's going to shine here, it's going to shine on our nose, it's going to shine on the candy cane or the tips of our fingers. Wherever that light might hit, make sure you leave that white, the page white, so that you can put your color on it. Now, you can use acrylic. I used alcohol markers. Some of them I did use acrylic. I messed up down here, so I had to use acrylic on the leaves to try to give that glow. And then I put the glow underneath her like that, and then thought that was kind of weird, but it was done. This one up here is a combo of alcohol markers and acrylic. I used acrylic paint pens to go over the lines, but the yellow light, I really wanted to make it darker yellow in the middle and lighter yellow outside. I'm not sure that's how these lights work. I'm pretty sure it's the other way around. But again, you understand it's a light because of the glow where I put the yellow. And yellow alcohol markers are not as bright as I want them to be, so I actually put acrylic paint pen over it to make it really bright. So that gives the illusion of light, even if your actual light bulb didn't turn out so well. So just remembering to leave things light enough that you can color the glow onto them, or that you're going to use acrylic paint pen. Now, acrylic covers everything, so when I started having mistakes I really couldn't fix with alcohol markers, I put acrylic over it. And at the end, I'm happy with this. I then phoned in her fur. It was like, this is somewhat of a disaster. I'm gonna just go ahead and just finish it off, but it's all right. You've got that 3-foot look. It looks good. Just don't get too close. And I love that I remembered, that the light's probably glowing on the top of her ear too, and maybe that part of her hat. And it just overall reads that she's in the dark with glowing. I even made the glowing lights glow off of the snowflakes, which I was hoping that would help as well. So that was in Matchstick Mouse Christmas. Yay! Now, I don't think I've done any more in here. I have done some basing with on a few things. I've been playing with paint, and when I have extra paint left over, I find a page that I can base something. But I don't think I've done anything more in here this year. Nope. So I would like to get another one in, but I do still have quite a few buddies, and I'm running out of month. So we'll see how much more in this book I get. Okay. Let's go to this one. And let me mark off that I told you about this one. Matchstick Mouse Candy King. That was such a fun page, and I have such a fun group that I'm working with too. It's really great. They are just, that group is Tammy from Tammy Colors 2, Lizbeth 47, Jen from Chromatic Dilettante, and Yolanda from Coloring Biker Mama. And it's possible they're all finished by now. I just haven't gathered that all together, but we'll see them all together very soon, and I'll be posting them on Instagram as soon as they're all done. Okay, this is one that I just finished today. And this is, I actually translated this, and the translation is like spring, summer, fall, winter, cats, Festival of Cats, or something like that. So I've just been calling it the Season of Cats book, and it's by Nelko Neko. And I have fallen, Story of Precious Cats, it says right here in English. Well, that's not at all what the translation showed me, but I trust that. Story of Precious Cats. Okay, you have to be smarter than the book. This book I've fallen madly in love with, and I flipped it with you guys and showed you that I got it. I was so excited. And this is the page that I've been working on, and you saw it in progress a couple of times. I had so much fun with this page. I used ink tints for a lot of it. I based the tree, not the ornaments, but the tree in ink tints. I based all of the fireplace in ink tints, and that was all I did in ink tints. Then I used Prismas, because I had just started collecting Prismas and I wanted to see how they worked. On everything else, ink tints was used as a base on this floor with Prismas on top. I wanted to make it look like carpet. So it's many colors kind of all put into one. It's kind of browns and reds to make it look more like carpet. Excuse me. And then Prismas are doing the shading in here. I had some red gouache out, and so I actually did this. Excuse me. I actually did this bow and gouache, which that red is gorgeous. I need to use that like on every page. It's beautiful. That's my Hemi gouache. And I did the stockings in that too, because I had some extra red and green. But I did everything. The presents are a combination of Prismas and some acrylic paint pens, and I think there might even be a little bit of gouache in some of them. I was just using different mediums that I had out because I find presents to be extremely boring. So this is a Prisma silver. Isn't that a nice silver? It's so rare you get a metallic pencil that's actually metallic. Now their gold is truly hideous. Their gold is that angel right there, the dark gold. This right here, I had to try to cover it up as much as possible with other things because it's such an ugly gold. But the silver is gorgeous. The rest of the gold ornaments I did with pencil. So all this is done with pencil. My favorite part of this is the round red ornaments. I watched another tutorial from Amy Schulke, Shulke, and she did a tutorial. No. This was this book. I found this book on Mercari, bought it used, and I used the tutorial in here on spheres. And I want to start learning these tutorials and then sharing them with you. These books are very expensive. And you're lucky if you could find them used. But they are very simple, 1 or 2 page tutorials. And I thought, if I could learn them and then maybe I could go over them with you. I used some of this information, making air bubbles. I used some of that, and then I used, there is one in here that shows how to make it if it's sitting on a surface, what kind of shading you use. Oh, isn't that neat? We all want to learn how to do bubbles. But yeah, I kind of combined a few things in here of spheres and how to do the shading of the spheres. And like this, I love this. I used some of the tips from this one to make a silver, but I didn't make silver. So I just sort of borrowed tips from everything I could find in here on making spheres like this. This is the main one that I used the tips from this book and did these. And yeah, what I learned, I knew that you had to have a light source, and I knew that you had to have lighter and darker in there, but I didn't really understand where that all went. And what I found out is that you use darker colors than you would expect. Like I have even black on these, just to give the illusion that they're 3D, they're round. And I think it turned out pretty well. And they aren't based in anything. They're just Prisma, which I was really, really impressed with that red pencil. And I was impressed with all the pencils I used. It's a surprising number of pencils it takes to get it to look like this. It's like 4 or 5 different pencils, but I really enjoyed it. And then I usually use my polys to do gold because I have a combination in my Polychromos pencils that works really well to make gold, but I decided to try to do it in Prismas. And I like it. I think I like the poly gold combo that I have better, but I'm just learning this with Prismas, and I do think it reads gold. So I think it's all right. I think it's easier with polys because they keep a sharp point and you can get in these small areas. The Prismas sort of were hard to get detailed work, and so it kind of mushed together in places where I really wanted the colors a little bit more separate. And it was hard to leave white areas to look like it glowed with those mushy Prismas, but I really enjoyed it. I liked it better on the bigger areas, like these wings. I thought it turned out better than it did in the stars. And then I did Prismas for their clothing, but then I wasn't sure. I used acrylic marker to put the lines back in, and I don't know. I think that might have been a mistake because the rest of this is so realistic looking, and then I have these non-realistic clothing choices, but it's good. I made the 3 sisters all gray kitties. These 2 have blue eyes, and she has green eyes. And she's always in a big poofy diaper like that. These 3 sisters go through the whole book, and it's all the seasons. I tell you, finishing this, and I use those same Prisma combos to do these gold balls as well, which I really like that one. I think that one turned out the best. Doing this made me want to do another page. This was so nice. This paper can take anything, and the page was so fun to color. So I'm going to be working with Amy next year. This is a focus book for Amy, and so I'm going to buddy with her when she does pages out of her book, just because I enjoy it. I don't care about ever finishing a book, and nothing bled through. Ooh, I want to do that one. I just really, really enjoy working in this book. So I'm really proud of that page, and I'm glad I did that one. So that one's done. Yay. Let's mark that off. That one I just wrote in the book because I just did it. Nelko Neko. There we go. Okay. Let's get to my obsession this month. I am obsessed with this book. I found a Christmas page, and I said, oh, I'm going to do that Christmas page. It's the one that Goofy is dressed like Jacob Marley from A Christmas Carol. And then I thought, well, I'll do the one next to it. And it was a Christmas one too. And I was like, wait a minute. So then I went to the back. I'm going to show you the back. And I found out there's a whole bunch of Christmas ones. And all of these are from A Christmas Carol, which was a movie, Mickey's Christmas Carol, from 1983. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But the one I really like is this one. So I thought, okay, I'll just keep coloring until I get to Mickey. Well, I haven't got to him yet because I think he might be before Goofy, if I remember from the back. So I'm sort of obsessed with it. These are very quick. It usually only takes me a couple evenings to do them because of these big areas. They're not very detailed at all. And I'm using paint for the biggest areas and then paint pens for the smaller areas. And they go pretty quick. So I was so happy with the way he turned out. And I always paint my edges black to cover up the mess that I make down here with all the, well, you'll see on the next page. So I think he's Jacob Marley. I think she's the nephew's wife. She's not Belle. I think she's the nephew's wife, but I'm not sure. Or she's Bob Cratchit's wife. Anyway, so she was fun. I did have a little mishap right there, but it's all good. And then I was like, one night, I mean, I've had some kind of brain dead days and nights lately. Like I'm having a little crash with my chronic fatigue. And so I don't really feel like thinking. So I do these color by numbers. So I turned the page and I started on these. Here's even more. There's one of the Huey, Dewey, and Louie's. All that this one needs left is to put a second coat of the brown acrylic on it, or a third. This is actually 3 coats. And then finish off the black once I get that brown finished. And this one, and then there's a couple things here. And then this one's done. So this one's almost done. And see, I make a mess down here testing out pens and paints and stuff. So when I'm done, I just paint the whole edge with black acrylic paint. But then while this was drying, I was like, well, I might as well start on this one. So I started on this one, and it's not Mickey again. It's Jiminy Cricket. And I think he just sings in A Christmas Carol, right? He's one of the carolers or something. And I think this is such a fun picture with the rain in the background or snow or whatever it's supposed to be. And he's standing in front of a window or a door singing. So I'm almost done with these too. So I'm going to finish these, and then I'm probably going to turn the page and keep going. Although I may turn the page this way because I think Mickey that's Donald. This is Mickey. There's Mickey. And I did have a little bit of bleed through, it looks like. And that was the blue. Oh, it was a paint pen. I was having a hard time with this Tule art. Sometimes Tule arts behave and sometimes they don't. And it wasn't behaving, so I was going over it and I didn't let it dry enough before I put another coat on. And so that will cause bleed through. I need to be patient. But I hadn't started, was thinking I was only going to do this page. It's easier if I'm doing both at the same time because then I'll let it dry while I bounce over to this one. I didn't do that. But I really do like him. And this is an acrylic gouache. So look at that. He's shiny. I forget often that I could use shiny. So I could have done shiny for her bow or something. I forget that. So yeah, I got to remember that I can use shiny paint. So yeah, I think my next two will be these two. It'll be Scrooge McDuck, who plays Scrooge, and Mickey, who plays Bob Cratchit. And then I think Belle is back here. Yeah, here with Daisy Duck. And this is Minnie Mouse. You know what I think? And she looks like she's serving cookies or something. I think she's Bob Cratchit's wife. I don't know. Maybe this is Belle when they were young. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, these always turn out so good. And I prefer using acrylic, either paint or pens, because I want to completely cover the numbers. I can't stand to see the numbers. So I want really opaque coverage. And then I think, if you get up close, you see it's not perfect, but from a distance, they look pretty good. So yeah, I'm a little bit obsessed with the Mickey, Donald, and Co. book this month, but they're so easy. They're super easy and super fun. This is, if you're a beginner at these books, or if you just don't want to take days and days and days to do one of these pages, this is a good one to get. It's an older one because they are more simple. And I have other pages. I have this page I've done. They just go really fast. And I think I have this page, yes. This was the first page I ever did in any of these books. They go really fast because of their big areas, but yet they're still interesting. They're still a scene. They're not just a portrait. So fun stuff. Mickey, Donald & Co. Yeah, I'm a little obsessed with that. All right, I'm going to check off those two that are finished. I still have two I'm working on. Let's show you this one. So as many of you know, I'm running a hashtag, put it across the screen here, NLT Christmas Village, and it's Christmas coloring or wintry coloring, or a page you can adapt to be winter or Christmassy from any nice little town book. And we're making a Christmas village. So at the end of, and you post it with that hashtag, I can pull it off of Instagram, and I'm gonna string them together in a video so we can have a virtual Christmas village at the end of December from nice little town. So I finished my first page, and that's this one. This was all. I want to paint a border on it, or maybe I'll just take a picture with just cut off those borders. But this was all acrylic paint because I was swatching. Let me grab it. I was swatching this thing. This giant 112 colors. Oh, I've been writing it's 128. It felt like 128. 112 colors I've been swatching. And what I did was, before when I've had Hemi, I've kept the little covers on because all of the, isn't that beautiful? It's just so fun to look at. These all have covers, and I've kept them all. I pulled them off before, and of a smaller set that I had. And that set got mold, and I had to throw it away. So there was a big sale of Hemi a while back, and I purchased this set because I wasn't using the full pans. So these half pans are perfect for me. There are some drawbacks to it, and I'll tell you about that. So I thought I would leave the peel-off lids on until I used that color, and then I would just peel them back a little bit. But I found I wasn't using it because I had no idea what the colors really look like. I had their cute little swatch, which is this. But how accurate is that? Well, it turns out it's actually pretty accurate. It is pretty accurate, but I didn't know. So I wasn't using it. So then I did some research and found out that this spray, and I knew about it, it was never available though, so I hadn't bought it yet. This spray from Hemi, Hyatt Spray, it's their gouache spray, and it smells a bit like rubbing alcohol, and it keeps your gouache wet and also keeps it from getting mold. So you paint, and then when you're done painting, you just spritz this, boop, 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 like that, just spritz that, and then shut it up again. And it's working, it's staying wet. It doesn't seem to be drying. So I think that's the way to keep the Hemi gouache. If you keep the peel-on lid, for one thing, it's a pain. It takes two hands to deal with it. Plus, you just don't see the color, so you're not seeing it. And then I swatched it, and that was one of the things that I wanted to show you that I've been working on. This is one of those watercolor paper pads that I get from out of those Prismacolor kits that I buy used, and I've been swatching everything. Let me put this on before I make a huge mess. And you need to keep it closed because air is your enemy. So you keep that closed. And then in this book, I've been swatching everything, and I'll go through this and show you because this is something I've been doing. Hemi Gouache 128. I need to change that. This is where I started. Here I put it was 126. I guess I don't know how many colors are 112. But it's not in any color order. And the problem with that is once you take one problem is that the colors, like here's a green and here's a black. The colors that are in the same pod aren't necessarily in the same color family, and you can't separate them. So I thought about rearranging them so at least they were sort of like all the reds and all the oranges and all the yellows, but I realized here's a yellow and here's what I classify more of a brown, that I'm just not going to be able to do that. That colors in the pod sometimes are very different from one another. And B, once you peel off the lid, there's nothing that identifies that paint anymore because the name and number are on the paper lid that you peel off. So what I did was I followed the order of the swatch sheet, and that's what I did because that's the order they are in the box. And then what I did was for each pot of paint, I'd pull it out, and on the underside with a Sharpie, I'd write the paint number on each one. So violet, I wrote 063, and its pod mate was pale violet, I wrote 040. And then I knew that at least I could identify the paint in that pot. Then I'm like, well, how can I identify it? How do I know where it goes in the kit to make it easy for me? So I wrote the numbers in the well of the kit too, so that the number on the bottom of the paint matches the number of the space where that paint goes into the kit. Yes, a lot of work. And then this is the metallic set. I have the metallic set. It's just a small set. And then I put them in here in no particular order. Well, in the order that they are on the swatch sheet, because I figured if all else fails, this is my reference to where things are. And I was really, really, really careful. I don't think I made any mistakes because I know that a mistake could really not be corrected because there's no identifier on these pods of paint. But look at these colors. I mean, the colors are phenomenal. It's just, and such good coverage. And oh my gosh, there's so many colors here I want to do something fun with. Like, where's that one color? This cherry pink. Is that not gorgeous? I just want to do something with that. And just so many neat colors. Now, do you need this many colors? No, there are some colors that are very similar. These two are pretty similar. These two are pretty similar. These two are pretty similar. I mean, you don't need this many colors. But do you want this many colors? Because I sure did. These two are very similar. Yeah, you could get by with a smaller set for sure. And they have so many different configurations of sets. They have sets with the full jelly pods and those that are half and half like this. There's just a lot of paint in them. So I decided I wanted less paint with more colors. So that's why I bought these half pod ones. Plus, they're really hard to wrangle out of the kit. This big kit, they finally got smart on that, and that's holes in the bottom of the kit. So you can just poke the paint up with your finger and then pull the whole pod out. So I liked that design because I knew from experience with the smaller set I had that I was constantly getting paint all over me trying to get those things out if I wanted to get them out. So I swatched them. So swatching has been a big thing, and I'll go through this with you after I show you this picture. So as I was swatching, I would have paint on my brush or, in the little palette or whatever if I was using a palette. So I'd come over here and do something with it. So I don't know if there's a cohesive palette in here, but it's all either acrylic paint or acrylic paint pens, not the way I normally color a nice little town or a Tatiana Bogema Stolova page. I would normally use alcohol markers, and then if I wanted to, pencil on top, but I mostly just shade with alcohol markers. So there isn't as much shading in here as I would normally do because it's acrylic, it's paint, and I didn't want to mess with it anymore. I'd already spent too much time on this one. And I got some metallic stuff in there, some super golden markers in there. But I kind of like it, and it's going to go into the village. Now, this was an untouched book for me. Out of the 10 pages I did this month, 5 were from untouched books, so that's great. So I was really glad I got into this. So now that this one has a page in it, I feel like I can do a page out of any of my other books. I thought about doing this one with him in the tree. I think I'll save that one. I don't think that one goes with the village. any page goes in the village. I mean, we've got someone doing a giant gumball machine, and someone's doing a train. Someone did snow shoveling on a roof. I mean, all these things. Interior cozy, like this one. There's an interior cozy one where where the little mousie's wrapped up in a blankie in front of the fire. I mean, anything goes, and it's going to be a lovely village. So if you feel like getting involved with this, there's still 2 weeks left till Christmas. Okay. Then I did this one. Now, this was a group buddy as well, and I'll show all of their finished pages at the end of the month. This was a brand new RJ Hampson for me, untouched, brand new, just got it this month. And this was a gift I got it in November from Jody at Jody Moments. And Jody, this was my first page out of it. I love it. So this is the only Christmas page in the book. And I know a lot of people are doing this page this month because this is a new book and everybody wants to get into it. So I chose to do the dark version. The light version is not, there's not a whole lot of differences in it. It's daytime, and it doesn't have the ornaments hanging down, and the elf doesn't have glasses, but everything else is the same. So this is, on Black Friday, I don't have a good set of fine liners, so on Black Friday I bought these Stettler Tri Plus fine liners. This set was super cheap, and it seems like I remember people mentioning these when they do pages, so I thought they'd be pretty good. They're okay. I wouldn't buy them full price. They're so fine that it's hard to get them to cover anything. They're mostly for line work. I don't think they're not really helpful coloring, I found. They take a little bit of work. But the colors are nice, and I wanted to get to know them. So I did much of this in these fine liners. The red and the green up here, some parts of the ornaments. I did this entire bow. That was hard to get the coverage, but it's bright and pretty. So yeah, I think it's important to have a set of fine liners in your arsenal, because we do come, especially like in George Tufexis and artists like that, where they have little tiny details. It's good to have something that can get in there if you want it. And these are fine if you can find them on sale. They're fine. But they are super tiny, super tiny. But it worked real well for things like these candy canes. I mean, I was glad to have them. And then I used Maya from Color by Maya. I used her tutorial that she just put out on coloring snow. It was the last thing I did, so I just sort of did it real fast. But about putting, a darker blue up to a little bit lighter blue, or any color you want, lower, and then leave the top of the snow white. And wherever there's humps, color the back side of the hump. So I sort of put that in there. And then for him, his clothing is fine liners, but I did use some super golden markers in here, and I used pencil for his skin. I think I used Sioux Color pencils, my Sioux Color pencils, which I still have to do a review. I haven't used them enough yet. I didn't like them the first time I used them. I really liked them with it. I think it really is going to depend on the paper with those pencils, because I used them on another page and loved them. So I need to try them on some more papers. But anyway, that's my little elf on a swing. This is called, RJ called this page Wrapping Up Christmas. So that was a lot of fun. I really liked doing it. And at the end of the month, I'll show all of my buddies' pages. All right, what else did I do? Oh yes, 1 second, I'll go grab that. Okay, myself and Veronica and Mindy, we did a page out of Happy Cats. Now, we did a page out of Happy Cats last month too. We've been doing them. And we actually all finished our pages already, so I'll be able to show you theirs too. So this is mine. This it wasn't necessarily a Christmas page, but we decided to make it Christmas. There is a Christmas page in here, but Veronica had already done that page. So we decided to pick a different one, and we did this one. And it reminds me, of Brady Bunch or Hee Haw or something like that. And I used a gold marker, but I don't know if it was a super golden marker. It doesn't really look like it. I don't think I would have used one of my precious super golden markers for this much pen work. So it's some other gold marker I used. Did I write it down? Oh, it was a Tule art. It was a gold Tule art, yeah. Yeah, not as blingy and pretty and a lot more streaky than the super golden markers would be, but not as precious to me as those super golden markers that I go through so fast. And then the rest of this was alcohol markers. So yeah, I really enjoyed this page. It went really fast. It was a lot of fun. And I think it says Christmas, especially Christmas ugly sweaters. I kind of wanted to do the whole ugly sweater thing. So that was a lot of fun. So let's look at Veronica's. Now she's Veronica Dunn 66. And I loved her page. She went not overboard Christmas. She just made it really pretty and really cohesive. And I think it worked out really great. A lot of fun to look at. And then we have Mindy from Coloring with Cats Among Orchids, and she went way Christmas, and I love the colors she chose. In fact, I had seen both of theirs because I was the last one to finish, and I'm like, okay, I like them both. I need to think of something different because I don't want to copy either one of them. So, but I did want to go Christmas because I wanted all my coloring this month to be Christmas coloring. So thank you, ladies. You gave me a lot of inspiration so that I was able to sit down and do this. I've been into like red, green, and gold for Christmas this year. That was Happy Cats by Angela Gonzalez, or she goes by Lala too. Do you know she has a new book coming out? Yes, she does. And it's mice. Yes, she does. Can't wait. Okay. Then I did another Matchstick Mouse one, and this was out of winter. And this was a group, and we did this sledding one. Now everybody's not done with this one, so I will show their pages at the end of the month. This one was a blast. I wasn't sure how to do it, so I just started. And then the whole concept of like a pinkish purpley red and then kind of like leaf colored greens is kind of what ended up happening here. So it was kind of a warm color palette, which I really like, sorry. And that's what happened. So I decided to make the blanket the same red and just use reds. Now, I think these are just alcohol markers, right? Because that's, yeah. Just alcohol markers and a white acrylic pen. Now the pen work, I stole this idea. One of my buddies in one of my winter coloring, it might have been the other Matchstick Mouse, did these white dots to look like snowflakes had piled up, and I liked that so much that I stole the idea. And so I put white dots all over where snow might accumulate, little snowflakes. And then did I use any other techniques? No more techniques than I normally do. I went over the cloud lines with white, but then did a little blue on the inside. I always put some kind of color on the very, very inside of clouds. I loved this blue in the background. I didn't need to remember what blue that is because that is really pretty. Yeah, and then white acrylic paint on the trees to give it some snow. So yeah, they're really catching air here. My buddies' pages are starting to come in because I did this like first of the month. And they're all really, really good. So I know you'll look forward to seeing those. So yeah, that was out of Matchstick Mouse, a winter coloring book. And that one was an untouched book as well. So I'm getting into a lot of untouched books. Okay. This one. This was a new book to me just recently. I bought it used. It cost me $2.50 off of Mercari. And I love this book. I love this book. I'm definitely going to be working in it throughout the year. It's just very cool. I had a hard time picking a first page, but I told you that I was probably going to do the Belle page, and that's the page I did. So I did Belle. And in fact, I used some distress ink over here. I haven't fixed it, which is why I have this paper here, because I'm not so sure that distress ink won't transfer. But now that I've shown it, I'll fix it. Oops. This is Belle. Now, this was a fun page to do. This is very different from what I usually do. In the background, let me get my notes, because I know I wrote notes on this one. I did ink tints, but I did a blue ink tints, but I didn't do it very evenly because I'm still getting used to ink tints. So what I ended up doing was going back in with a white Prisma pencil and doing blotches of white. And I thought the inconsistent blue with the blotchy white really made for a good snow sky. Now these snow dots were already in there, already in the drawing, so I just went over them with a white acrylic pen. And that way I felt it was a very light, very subtle snow sky. And I really like it. I need to remember that. Then I went in with, I was playing with this metallic. This is the metallic acrylic that I did Goofy's shirt in the color by number. And I'm like, what if I did that for the trees? It's not a natural color. It's a blue-green and it's metallic. But I just took a paintbrush, like a flat paintbrush. Oh, it's over by the sink. Well, we'll pretend it was this one. It was an angled brush. And I just went choo-choo-choo, choo-choo-choo, kind of did a Bob Ross Happy Little Trees thing, just in lines along the trees. And that's all I did there. Then, and I did it in the snow as well. Then for the trees, I used a white acrylic paint pen and went over all the lines. And then the rest of that is just the white of the paper. So there is very minimal coloring for at least the snowy part. I made up for it in her. But the snowy part is mostly the paper white with just white acrylic paint pen blocking out the lines and adding a little bit more in places. And then this green shimmery paint giving the illusion of drifts of snow and trees. It's very abstract. Now for her, I made her very realistic, and that was on purpose. I kind of wanted all this just to be a background that your eye didn't really, mostly registered as a background, but didn't really pay attention to, because I wanted her expression on her face, and her story is so sad that I really wanted her to be the focal point, and I wanted it to be unusual colors. So I chose a color combination I have never used before, and that's this peachy color and the grass green. I've never done that before. This is many layers of things. It starts with ink tints and then moves on to pencil work, which I think were polys. I use my polychromos. And so I have some poly work on top, not a lot. There's also some acrylic paint in here because I was using some acrylic paint and I found this beautiful peachy color. So that's paint and paint in here. And then just to make it look like layers, I went over, there's some white in there. I just kept doing layers of things to try to get rid of the black lines and give it more dimension and depth on this skirt. And I think it's unusual. This is all acrylic paint. I think it's unusual and strange, and I like it. I really do. I like how it all turned out. I think she really does stand out. And, see the expression on her face? It's just so emotional, and I just really wanted her to be the spotlight. But I didn't want to do my usual pinks in these types of clothing, so I tried something completely different. What do you think? And then I just did some blended in some blue. I think this is it's not called sky blue, but it has something to do with the sky. It's a Tim Holtz Distress ink. So I love this page. This is another favorite of mine so far this month. This one and the Nelko Neko one. It turned out exactly the way I had no idea what I was doing. Everything on this page is an experiment. Everything on this page is something I've never done before. The sky, the way I did the snow and the trees, her dress, the palette, everything is different than what I've ever done before. It was all one big experiment. And that was really fun. And it's fun to experiment. I know you're scared to experiment in your good books. But the paper, the thing is, I played in a rock band for 20 years. And one secret that we always told parents who would come ask us, my kid wants to play guitar, what do you recommend? The most expensive guitar you can afford is what we recommend. Because not even an expert can make those cheap guitars sound good. And you're just going to frustrate your child buying one of those child guitars. Get them a Les Gibson, get them something really nice, because then they can, even their plunking away is going to sound okay. And they're going to get better. And as they get better and grow into the guitar, it's always going to sound good. So I say that same thing about your books. If you buy an Amazon printed book to experiment on, you're going to be frustrated because that paper can only take a limited amount of mediums and then it's done. It can't be experimented with, really. If you want to experiment, pick your best papered book and go for it, because it can handle layers and layers of anything. Water mediums, anything. And like I say, acrylic covers everything. So if it's really something you can't stand, use acrylic. Or keep trying at it. I knew the sky was terrible, but I kept trying at it. And then I found this white Prisma color, and I was like, hey, I like that. And now I have a technique that I want to use in many more pages. If this green had really not turned out, I could have gone over it with other acrylic. I could have fixed it, but it's weird and I liked it. So yes, use your best paper to experiment with. Honey, you've got lots of books and more pages than you can color in your lifetime. If you actually ruin air quotes, ruin a page that you cannot bring back from the dumpster pile, turn the page. You've got hundreds more to choose from. So don't worry about it. Everything will be okay. I don't believe you can ruin a page, but if you feel it's ruined, just turn the page and you have another awesome page to color. Yeah, and see, look, nothing bled through, because this is fantastic paper. And I'm excited. So yes, use your good books to experiment in and, set yourself up for success. Okay, preaching over. I have one more finished, I think, just one more finished. And then I want to show you some things I'm working on, and I'll be right back because I have to go get that book. Hold on. What would Christmas be without one of my favorite books in my collection, Silent Fright? So many of you bought this book after I went on and on and on about it. I'm so glad that I think most of you like it. I have a group for this that is just going to be an ongoing group, and whenever we feel like coloring a page, anybody can color a page. You don't have to color every month if you don't want to. If you want to, you can, but we have a group to support folks coloring out of this book, and this is such a great book. This month we colored and I don't know how to say this, but Sian from Fef Creates is Welsh, and this is a Welsh folklore, and it's Mari. Last word, L-L-W-Y-D. Marie Lwyd? I need to hear her say it. It's basically a drinking game from what I understand at this point, but historically a child would put a sheet over them and hold up a pole that had a horse's skull at the top, and they would parade around the town. When I asked, and I guess it's still really popular today in Wales. They still do this in a lot of places. And I asked her why, which I would think would be the most obvious question. What? She says it's basically a rap battle, and whoever loses gets their liquor stolen from them. I don't know who's rapping. I'm like, I have questions. So is the horse rapping? Is the horse drinking? I think there's a child. There's supposed to be a child underneath here. So who's drinking? Anyway, so we're doing this one, and you should wait till you see all the finished pages that are coming in. Wow. That group is going to town with this book. Now, this book is it's probably the same weight of paper as a Mythagoria. It's a little bit thinner than a Mythographic. And it works like a Mythagoria. I mean, I use a lot of water on here. There's some shadowing. This is a single page, though. So I would definitely put something behind it. And it's a little crinkly, but it took a lot. I put a lot on this page. So this is fun. This is a fun book to work out of, and the paper's just fine. There's a lot of ink tints in here. I am going by memory here. Okay. There's super golden markers in here. All of this silver that's in here that you're seeing that's glimmering, all that. Everything that's shining is a super golden marker. Thank you, Julia. Keeps me supplied in super golden markers. There's also some Tuliart paint pens in here. I don't know where that would be. And then the pencils I used were Color. I have not used my Color pencils in a while, and I have that giant 300 set that was like basically nothing. It was so cheap there when it first came out. I forget how much I like those pencils. Every time I use them, I say that. They're good pencils. If I were going for a budget brand of pencils, and I like Speer Farben too, but I think Color is even cheaper, and I love them. I think they're fantastic. So where they are is they're on top of ink tints in his jacket. Ink tints is the black, but this gray has got the Color. The Color is on top of ink tints in all the houses. I did the sky in ink tints and didn't like the color, so I used a more purpley Color over the top of it, and now I think that color is great. It just shines. That Color pencil I used is almost, it's almost like reflective. It's just a beautiful purple. So that sky turned out really great, and then I used some super golden markers to make the purple stars. I use Color everywhere. These stones are ink tints, but they have Color shading. I used a Color purple. I made the snow here a purple color. Yeah, the shading on his skull, all of it. It's all Color. And then here's some more super golden marker over here. And they really worked well. They were pigmented and creamy and everything I wanted in a pencil. So this was a fun page to do. Some people have gone on to do a second page, and if I have enough time, I'm going to, because it's Christmas season and this one is so much fun. Now, I've already done this page. I did this in November. That's when I went ooh and ah. This is my first time ever using ink tints. I use this page as a practice page. So I'd like to do more in here. This book, I mean, look at that. Who doesn't want to do that creepy clown? I mean, like, they're all so good. There's Scrooge. There's Bigfoot. I was gonna do, there's a Krampus page I was gonna do, but then I got to thinking about Partridge in the Pear Tree as like a zombie partridge, and the pears all have worms in them. Look at this one. I want to do this one. Is that not hysterical? Two skeletons just sitting out in their Christmas tartans on. But there's one with like, oh, this one where the gingerbread's actually baking you. Looking in at you, and the oven has chains on it, and these pies have fingers in them. This book is just spiders. This book is so good. These guys just sort of died royalty because they've all got crowns in the middle of Christmas dinner. There's someone coming down the chimney to steal your stockings. It's just, there's Santa Claus taking, I love that. That's like the Grinch. Oh my gosh. I don't understand this one. I never have. I think they're marionettes, but I'm not sure. But, oh, it's just, This book is great. I like every single page in here. I'm just going to have to do it when it's not Christmas as well, because what a fun book. So I'll be showing you all of the finished ones at the end of the month. Okay. Anything more that I have missed that's finished? No. No. Okay, let's show you some things I'm working on. I already showed you the color by numbers. This, I don't think you guys even know I have this book. I purchased the other one, the one that has, I think it's Snow White on the cover, off of Mercari used. And then I loved it so much I went back on and found this one used and bought it too. So it's a used book. I love it for its size and the rounded corners. Don't ask me why, but those do something for me. I love the rounded corners. And I started a page. The other one I showed you in a haul. It didn't have a winter page. This one has a few. And it even has a Christmas page, which is this Christmas. It's, from what I understand, it's Cinderella. Yeah, Cinderella bringing home the tree. And I think Meg said this was Cinderella's Christmas is what it's called. Anyway, I have never done anything like this. I've never done a fancy landscape page. I've never tried to match something before. So I thought, let's just go for it. It's a good book, pretty good paper. Let's just go for it. And what I started using was watercolor. Oh gosh, I wish I would have written that down. It is watercolor, isn't it? Or watered down gouache. No, it's Kuretake Gansai Tambi. That's what it is. It's the Art Nouveau set. I thought I had it right next to me, but I must have put it away. It's the set that I tried to use on the Kirby pages and it bled through, but it's not bleeding through here, although I wouldn't mind if it did, but it's not bleeding through. So I think it's matching pretty well. This is just the base. I haven't yet put the white in. So there'll be white in that'll make it look more like clouds. And then I'll draw the tree back in over the top of it, because I can see it. I don't know if you can see it, but I haven't covered up the tree so much that I can't see it. And so there's a lot of just white dotting that I'm going to be doing up in here. And then I started trying to put the shadows in the snow. So we'll see. This is all just basing the shadows. So we'll see how it all turns out. I think so far it's kind of doing what I want it to do. You know, this is all based, so there'll be lots of layers on top of it. But I think I've got some shadows where I want them, and I think the sky is going to be fine. It's going to be a little bit darker in here than it is here, but there'll be pencil and acrylic paint pen and everything on top. So I'm looking forward to finishing this. This book. When I got the first one and looked through it, I was like, this is fantastic. I don't think before I had the confidence or the skills enough to even make a dent in a page like this. Like, I would have no idea what to do. You know, with alcohol markers was all I knew how to color with. But now that I've expanded my skill set, I've learned from other people and played around a lot with water mediums, it makes something like this more doable. So, yeah. So I'm really excited. And I'm learning new techniques as I do this. And it may turn out like garbage, but you know what? There's another page right here I can do. And then there's another page right here I can do. Come on, people. They're not that precious. So working on that one. I need to keep that one out. This is a Mythagoria group that I'm in. And we pick a different Mythagoria to work out of every month. We try to pick one that everyone has. And as people's collections expand, we can expand more. This month, we're doing the zombie chickadees out of here. You should see some of the finished pages that are coming out. So these are chickadees that have big holes in them, and they're eating intestines. These are guts, a big old pile of guts in the tree. And see, it's like dripping out of his mouth. I have no clue how to color these, but I've seen some really good examples so far of people who have finished. So I'm saving them for last. But I did decide I wanted to do, oh my gosh, the people everyone's choosing a different way to handle the background, and there's some fantastic ideas. I decided to make mine sort of kind of an awkward Christmas color. I kind of didn't want, I wanted it to make a nod to Christmas, but to be sort of off, kind of like these birds are sort of off. And then I decided, once I finished all the flowers, which are just done in alcohol ink, my Copics, that I wanted to make the icicles clear. So I'm in the process of doing that, and that's with pencils. Now, that day that I had gone to work and taken this with my alcohol markers, I also just happened to have my Sioux color pencils because I was also swatching them into a book. So I thought, well, let's see how they work. And now that I'm thinking about it, this is the page I use them on, and I thought they're doing really well. So this is Sioux color pencils that I'm using. Now, the way you do this is you just extend, like I've started doing it here. You just extend the artwork behind it through the crystal. And I like to make it slightly lighter and slightly different. So I wouldn't just do alcohol marker through the whole thing. I don't think that gives the illusion that this part is behind something. So what I'm doing is nice, dark, rich alcohol marker for the flower. And then for the part that is behind the, I keep saying crystal, behind the icicle, I'm doing in pencil. So it's not quite as rich. And in some of them, I'm doing in a slightly different colored pencil. So it looks different than the leaf you can see directly. When you're looking through the ice, it looks a little bit different, as it should. You know, it does. Ice also reflects light. So even to make it even more realistic, you can do this with glass too. You could draw this slightly off-centered. So the leaf would go here, and then the reflection would be kind of up here, and then the leaf would come back down here. That would be more, or make it bigger, slightly bigger, because looking through water or through ice at something distorts it a little bit. I didn't think about that, so I didn't do it, so now I'm not doing it for the rest of them. But yeah, so this black is pencil, and then this is pencil. Everything that's, because the icicles look like this, they look solid. So you just color them, this, whatever's behind them, you color the same colors, and then you use your white acrylic pen to go over the lines. And it gives the illusion of a clear something, in this case, icicles. Then I got inspired because one of the folks in the group accidentally made this icicle the same colors as her intestines, and we all thought it was on purpose. We all thought it was because the intestines were dripping blood onto the icicle. She informed us it was a mistake, but we all thought it was genius. So because of that, I think I'm going to make these icicles also not just a white acrylic paint, but also a red acrylic paint pen outlining the outlines as if blood was dripping onto them. We'll see how that works. You can always go over it again with white acrylic if it doesn't work. But I'd like to make it look like it's got blood dripping on it. But I think I have to wait to do that until I actually do the intestines. So I might do those icicles last while I wait to decide what color the intestines are going to be. I can't believe I'm saying that. Did I ever think in my lifetime I'd be wondering how to color intestines? No, I did not. But this is a fun page. If you like Mythagorias, this is pretty tame for some Mythagorias. But if you do like Mythagorias and you want to join our group, again, no pressure. You can color a page if you want or not. We have people sitting this one out. We have people coloring this one. We have people who are, we have people who want to do a page out of Vengeful Forest next month. So we're probably going to do a page out of Vengeful Forest. And I think there's a couple people in the group that don't have that book yet. So they'll probably sit that one out. So yeah, it's no pressure. It's just fun support as we try to figure out how to color intestines. And then this is another one. Now this is my ongoing opus. I've been calling these large 2-page Kirby spreads that I work on. And I don't put a timeline on myself. I just work on it throughout the month. If I finish it at the end of the month, that's the goal, but I don't. It's okay if I don't. This is my 2 roosters. I think last time you saw it, I didn't have any background. This is a Kuretake Gansai Tambi granulating paint. It's the blue. No, it's the violet. It's the Aurora Violet. And this is just a regular watercolor but it really went on splotchy, which is perfect because I think it matches. I kind of did that on purpose, actually. And then I'm using Prismas because I had just got the Prismas, so I was like, why not? So I'm using Prismas for that. I based him in a second coat of white. So he has 2 coats of white, and now I'm going to start putting subtle coloring in him and finish up his background, and he'll be done. Finish up his little elements back here. And then he still needs another base to finish the base of black and to put the colorings and stuff in him. Now I am going over all these doodles. There was a bunch of doodles right here. One sec, my oven's dinging at me. My eggshells were done baking. I saved the shells from my chicken's eggs, and so does my mom from the eggs I give her. And then I clean them up and I turn around and bake them, and then I crush them and put them back in their food because it's a good source of calcium, and they have to have the calcium to make their eggs. It's like a closed recycling loop. Anyway, I'm not dealing with the doodles. So one reason I gave these an acrylic paint base is to go over all the doodles. So all the doodles here are painted over, and hidden objects, and all the doodles and hidden objects will be painted over here too. It's just going to be 2 roosters and their little bug friends. And I kept these little guys down here. I thought I was on the fence about him, but I decided to go ahead and keep it. So I'm really excited. This is coming along. This is starting to look just like what I wanted it to look like. So that is coming along well. Okay. Now, the swatching I'm doing. Here's the other thing I've been doing. These are all pads that I've gotten out of those Prismacolor kits when I buy them used to get the pencils out of them. They also tend to have paper pads, and they're great paper. So in this little one, this was in a drawing kit. I am swatching all my pens. So, and I put the index here. So here's my Juilliard pastels. Now, almost all these were gifts. This is from Mindy at Coloring with Cats Among Orchids. I put down who gave them to me right there. Aren't those colors beautiful? That's the Juilliard pastels. Whew. These are colors, I use these a lot. And I think a lot of people use the pastels a lot, but they're just gorgeous, aren't they? Up here is a set, now Amazon had a couple of sets of Poscas, sort of an essential pack and then a pastel pack on sale. And they were super cheap during Black Friday, so I got them. So I put these in here in the Poscas. So that's why I have Poscas. And I'll tell you, I love the Poscas. 2 reasons. One, they're super easy to get started, I think. They're easier than Juilliards, and they're easier to keep going than Juilliards. Juilliards are very fussy. 2, their caps come off easy. That is so important to someone with arthritis. The fact that they're fatter and they shake easier, I have to shake my Juilliards really hard to get them going. And then the caps come off kind of tough. My Copic ones do too. I mean, when caps are tough, after a while, my hands start hurting taking them on and off. The Poscas come off really easy and they snap on really satisfyingly. And so I just like the way they're built. They are ridiculously expensive though. So when I find them on sale, I'm going to add them to. I also got the skin tone set used. It's missing 1 pen, but so it's got all, and I'll show those when I get to them. But I really like, now their colors are pretty basic, and although they're very, very opaque, and they're pretty, but they don't have, they're expensive, the sets are smaller, they're a little bit harder to collect, really. And I don't know if they're worth it, but I just like the way their mechanics work better. They cause me less pain. Here's the first set of Juilliards I ever got, the Earth set. I bought these myself. These are smaller pens. These are the fines. It was after this that I realized I like the mediums better. The fines get clogged up much faster than the smaller the nib on these shaking acrylic pens, the more they get clogged up and the more you have to fuss with them and wash them and stuff like that. Also, they tend to railroad and track where the big ones don't and leave scratchy marks so they don't cover big areas as well. So I use the ones with the fine tips for more finer work. I don't use them like in my color by numbers. Although I would like in something small, like maybe a George Tufexis. Here is the Tulle Essentials. These are a fatter nib that I have. This is from Beth, and these are awesome. I love the essential set. They are what they say they are. They're essential, the colors you need, although I love it that a neon pink is part of an essential set, because yes, it is. This gold, though, is really nice. I use this gold a lot, and this silver is really nice. I use it a lot. I use the white a lot. The gray, I use this set a lot. These blues, these three blues I use a whole lot. This is the Wildflower set. This was a gift from Christy with Color with Christy. These are super pretty, and this is the fine nibs. There's no colors like these in any other set of anything. I mean, these are so different. They're the colors of flowers, and they're named after the flowers their color is. So I'm so thrilled to have this set. This set is just, it's like a filler set. You wouldn't want this to be your only set. This is like a supplemental set for those colors that you can never find anywhere else. So beautiful. And then here's the skin tones. Oh, this is the Tulle Art skin tones. I was gonna say, that's a lot. This is the Tulle Art skin tones. And these are really nice. I mean, look at all those tones. But the thing is, I haven't used them at all for skin tones because they're like acrylic paint. So, and skin tones I blend. I don't know, do you color the whole face with one of these? I haven't found a good way to put pencils on top of acrylic. They don't seem to blend that well. I haven't found the right pencil maybe, but I know that Prismas don't look good on top of acrylics. I haven't been able to make them look good. And I haven't tried my polys. I should try the polys. But I don't know how you use acrylic skin tones. If you use acrylic paint for the skin, let me know, because right now I use pencils so I can get all the shades of the skin. Let me know how you would use a paint pen if you do. Here are the super golden markers. Here's the Posca skin tone that I got used. I liked it because it's Posca. I just wanted to get some more Poscas, but it's missing the darkest brown. I got it really super cheap used. And it's got some colors in there I don't have. Super golden markers. This is the set with, these are all from Julia. Julie got these for me. This is the set with the, that's the 12 with the smaller nibs. This is the original set. Look at those shine. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that purple gorgeous? I think this is my favorite gold of all time though. This is the first one that runs out for everybody that buys this set. That's like the perfect gold. The perfect gold. This yellow gold here, I use a lot of too. Actually, I use a lot of all of it. I don't use the purple as much. It's the least shiny of them all. But I use the greens a ton. And then here's the gift from Julia too. Here is the bigger nibbed ones, the new set that's come out, the 18. And so see, we have 12 here and 18. The 18 has bigger nibs and has 6 new colors. So this is a new color, this is a new color, this is a new color. Oh, that's not a new color. I put stars by new colors because I got so mixed up on this when I was showing them. Isn't that pretty? They're fun swatching them out. Excuse me. I just use a stencil for these things. Like this stencil is not this one. Oh, it's this one. There it is right there. And I use this stencil. It's a big thick plastic stencil. I use it to, and I learned my lesson. You have to use a waterproof marker. So I use Sharpies because if you don't, when you go to color over the line, it fades. It bleeds into your color. So you have to use waterproof, use Sharpies. These are brand new Color water-based markers. I haven't even shown you that I got them. This I got on an Amazon sale, very cheap. And I got them, Tammy Colors, no, Coloring Oasis got these. and swatched them, and they are very pigmented. She said they're very pigmented, and they are. I haven't found them be any less streaky though. They're still streaky like water-based markers are, but I think because they're so juicy, they're easier to get the streaks out than most. I've tried so many water-based markers. I'd have to say these are my favorite of the ones I've got. My least favorite are the Ohuhus, the old ones, the water-based markers. Their colors, I think, are atrocious. And then I have Mogyan, Mogyann, sort of like a cheap knockoff brand. They're pretty good. I have Super Tips, which are great, except I struggle with the tip itself. It's smarter than I am. And then these. Seems like there's another set in there somewhere I have. But these colors are, the colors are gorgeous. And there's so many. I mean, for 72, this is very well curated, I think. Lots of blues, lots of greens. It's even got several purples. So, yeah, I like them. If you can get them on sale, great. Here's the Tri Plus fine liners, those Stadler Tri Plus fine liners. Yeah, the colors are nice. Here's the Ohuhu acrylic. Oh, yes, I do have a small set of Ohuhu acrylic pens. I'm going to go through, I'm going to do a video. I have quite a few different brands, at least small amounts of quite a few different brands of acrylic pens, trying to find the perfect pen. And so I have some opinions on all these, and I thought I'd do a video soon on them. Here's Graby. Here's New Top. Some of you were interested in that one because it's a very, very cheap one off of Amazon. And that's all the pens I have swatched. So this was what I was doing. This was what I was doing. I swatched every single pencil set I have, which wasn't many until Black Friday. Dang you, Black Friday! Here's the Crayola Twistables. I actually got Crayola Twistables. They're kind of fun, and you know what? They're not super pigmented, but I think they will be fun for certain applications. And I think that with a mineral, with a solvent, they'll be really fun. I like to use crayons with solvents. Here is where I started my Prismacolors. Now, all of these Prismacolors I've gotten used from kits. Kits that are like, or small, just different kits. Either the Prismacolor kit itself, the tin, or a big drawing kit that has paper and these permanent markers, which are phenomenal. Prismacolor makes a fantastic fine liner. They also always come with a sharpener, which this sharpener is remarkably good. Surprised me. And they come with one of their Magic Rub erasers, which works really well. So I usually get 15 to 24 pencils, depending on the set. Sometimes more. I think I got 40 in one. And I usually get them for under $15. So it's a good deal, except I have a lot of extras in certain things, which is fine because you need extras when you have Prismas because you use them quickly. So these are all the colors I've gotten. So I'm definitely missing. And I was very, very tempted by the Black Friday sale that Blix was having, because they had the 150 set for under $100. But by the time I made up my mind, the price has gone up. They're still having it on sale, but now it's like $130. And I can't decide if I want to pay that much or if I just want to try to fill in these holes. The biggest holes I want to fill in are the grays. I really like their grays, and I want all the grays. So I'm not missing a lot outside of the grays. I'm missing... Okay, and this order that I've got them in is Coloring with Claire's order. I didn't download her swatch card. I did this myself with a stencil, but I put it in the order that's on her swatch card. And it made more sense to me. It has made it a little bit difficult. I knew I couldn't, like when I get a new pencil and I want to find out if I have this pencil, like let's say this is a Sioux color, I think, but if I want to know if I have this pencil, they're not in order. So I kind of have to go like, okay, this is a red pencil, Maybe it's in here. It takes a little bit of time. I realized I couldn't put them in this order in my pencil case. That would drive me nuts. So I put them in numerical order in the pencil case so I can find them easier. But I do like this order here because then I can see what I'm missing and if I feel I really need it. I thought I had Crimson Lake. I have to recheck. I do have a lot of extras though in an overstock because there are some colors that seem to show up in every kit. I am missing quite a few purples and a few blues, but I have a lot of blues. I could fill out my greens a little bit better. So purples and greens, and then the grays. I'd really like. Then I have a small, tiny set of Prisma watercolors. Prisma watercolor pencils are not very pigmented, but they're not bad. They're terribly made. They're cracked, their wood is chipped, their quality control is terrible. But if you find a set super cheap used, I would get them because they're not terrible. This is the set I have. I don't think you can find very many of them, but they've got some pretty colors. And I have used them. I've used them in Kirby books. Here's my polys. I have the full set of polys. And so I have all of them. And these are also in Claire's order because I just like that they're, I can look quickly and see the blue I want or the purple I want, but they're in numerical order in their case. All the greens. These are still my favorite pencils. And I missed a whole bunch of yellows, so I had to put them at the end. But there's a lot of nice grays here. Aren't those nice? They've got warm grays and cool grays. Then Albrecht Dürer. Oh, these are gorgeous. They're just, I have a few different watercolor pencils in here, and you will see none of them come close to Albrecht Dürer. I mean, look at the pigmentation on that. They're just so easy. They're so easy to use. They're like that expensive guitar. You can basically have no experience and these can come out great. Now, I struggled with them, but I found out it was the application I was using. It's just an application I'm not good at. So I use them a different way because there's several ways you can use them, and that works for me. So look at them. Look at those yellow oranges, and look at all the reds. Wow. It's just, they are stunning, aren't they? Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, there's nothing as pigmented as these. So if you're going to get watercolor pencils, you might as well go for the best. Now, then I got interested in other Faber-Castell, and since I was finding, it's hard to find anything Faber-Castell used for a good price. They retain everything Faber-Castell, especially polychromos pencils, really retains their value. You don't find very good deals on them. You can find great deals on Prismas. Lots. I mean, there's no reason to buy Prismas at full price anywhere. But Faber-Castell is really hard to find cheap. And I did find their set of more student grade. They're not the professional grade, kind of a student grade watercolors, the aquarelles. I found a really good price on a kind of a small set of them, and I thought I'd get them just to see the difference. Look at the difference. And I have used them in a page, and they're meh. They're nothing compared to this. Okay, where are we? We're reds and oranges. Look at this pigmentation, and look at this pigmentation. Yeah, big difference, huh? Yeah. So the aquarelles are like that. I would not recommend them for any price, actually. I don't think they're really worth it. There's better, cheaper ones out there. If you can't afford the Rolls Royce, there's better Ford Mustangs out there. This is the Color Portrait set. I got this on the Amazon Black Friday sale. They were on a deep discount, and I had that whole 300 set, but this was colors that aren't in that. And it was nice having them all together like this. So, yeah. So I put it in the case with my other colors. And here's the Color 300. Look at the pigmentation on that. I mean, compare it to, who is this? Compare it to Prismas. I mean, color blows them out of the water. They're so pigmented and they're soft. They're fantastic. I mean, and they're really affordable. But look at that pigmentation. I mean, it's more pigmented than Prismas. So I don't get it. I don't know why they're not more popular. I think they're fantastic. And they've got neons and they've got skin tone. Now everything looks a little sketchy because this is watercolor paper. It's very, very textured. But I love that pear green. But I mean, isn't that great? Those are great. So don't hesitate if you can afford a set and you want a big set. They've got pastels in there. And that 300 set's really nice. Then I had some Crayola watercolors. Now these are better pigmented than the Faber-Castell Aquarelles. Not as pigmented as the Albrecht Dürer, of course. But if you can get your hands on cheap Crayola watercolors, I like them. I've used them for several things. Then we have Inktense. Oh, nothing compares to Inktense. Now, the pigmentation is very similar, though, to the Albrecht Dürers, but these are very different products, right? So the Albrecht Dürers are watercolor, and they're going to behave like watercolor. And you got to let them dry really, really dry, and if you want to put a second coat and have the second coat have a lot less water in it, or it will reactivate and move it around again. It's watercolor. This is ink. So once it goes down, it's permanent. You can put anything on top of it, anything. It's not going to move anywhere. So that's why, yes, they look a little bit the same on this paper. They're completely different products. I think everybody needs Inktense. Now that I've had it, I don't know how I colored without them, really. I mean, just the fact that they don't reactivate means they're the best base ever. They're the best medium to base with. Look at those colors. I love those colors. I wish there was more. There are 23 new colors. There are several in that 23 set, though, that are so similar to these that I don't know. But I just wish there was 100 more colors. But look at these. I love these earth tones. Yeah, so they're such a perfect base. I use them as is a lot too. But as a base, they really shine. A long time ago, I got a small pack of Faber-Castell metallics, and I kind of like them, so I use them quite often actually. Then, when one of my Archer and Olive subscription boxes, they had some metallic pencils. They're not anything worth writing home for. They just came in that kit, so I thought I'd swatch them, but I don't use them as metallics. Then I found a little box of pencils. I didn't know what they were. They came in a kit as well from Hero Arts back when I was making a lot of cards. And they ended up being water-soluble pencils. I didn't realize that. So I tested them here, and they're terrible. Pigment's not good, and they run. They're weird. They kind of flow all over the place. So, yeah, don't get those. And then I have some Crayola pencils. I like Crayola pencils, and I know a lot of you do too. They're very pigmented and pretty easy to use on anything. So Crayola pencils are great. Then we have one of my new purchases. This came off of Black Friday, Artecha oil pastels. I had the Mungio, I have the Mungios. You'll see them. I have the Mungios too. But this is Artecha oil pastels. This was a fluorescent set. I thought, how fun it would be for some backgrounds to have fluorescent. We're going to come into spring eventually, and candy and stuff like that. Now, this was the second set of oil pastels I swatched. So I got smart and I fixed it before I closed the book. Because oil pastels aren't ever really fixed. You can let them dry for days and they're probably better, but I really recommend fixing them at the end. So these are fixed. They're not going to come off. But aren't they neat? Now, I saw the Artecho in, I think it's Coloring with Maya who uses these. They're great. They're really great. I think the Mungios are more pigmented, especially Mungio Gallery ones, which I don't have. But these are very affordable. And here they are in their regular set. I liked the fluorescence so much that I went ahead and purchased on Black Friday the 48 set, and it was a great deal. And I think they're beautiful. I love the colors. I can't wait to use them on something. I haven't had a page that really could use them yet. If I had had these when I was doing this sky, I would have used the oil pastels on that. But I didn't have the pastels yet. So here's their colors in the 48 set. Pretty neat, huh? Pretty beautiful. Nice. Here are my Spirifarbens, the Excellent, they're called. I like the Spirifarbens. They behave more like a poly. They're harder pencils and they're good layering pencils. I like them and use them a lot. They're a very different pencil than the Color, and I use both of those sort of, not interchangeably, but equally. I use them for different things. The Color is a softer pencil than this is. But see, they're very pigmented as well. They're a great budget set. I really highly recommend Spirifarbens. I've had these for a long time and I've used them a lot. I think I just have I didn't write down how many I have, but not many. Then the Black Widows. I've never been sure I like the Black Widows. And then after swatching them, because I was doing all these things back to back, every day I was working on this, I realized what a lesser product they are. They're actually not near as nice coloring it in the hand as everything else I own. So they're probably, I used to use them more often before I got other pencils, and then I just sort of stopped using them. But putting them down here, I realized they're a lot less pigmented. See how much lighter they are than, like, say, the Spirifarbens? Look at how bright those are. You know, they're much less pigmented. They're much harder to get the pigment out of them. And so I probably won't be using my Black Widows very much. I have the Monarch set and I have the Spider set. I don't know. With the other sets I have, I can't see myself pulling these out and wrestling with these although that is a gorgeous color. Unless there's a color in here, like maybe these two that I don't have anywhere else. But why would I wrestle with a pencil when I have other pencils that are just so easy to use? And then I tried the gold Faubers. Now, Faber-Castell has a limited number of gold Faubers. I don't think they're continuing that line much. You don't hear much about it, but it was supposed to be their answer to Prismas. So where most of Faber-Castell's pencils are harder and oil-based, this is a softer wax-based. And I only got this little set. I got it used, got it very cheap, and I love them. Love them. So I'm going to look into them more. They behave like a Prisma. And I don't think they're any cheaper, though. They're just Faber-Castell's version. So it's not like you would buy these. I think, at least in the United States, Prisma is fairly affordable. Maybe if you were in another country and you can get these easier, and these were cheaper than Prismas, yeah, do it if you can. They're soft. They're not as soft and squishy as a Prisma, but pretty close. And I think they're very pigmented, and they're beautiful pencils. I really like them. I know some people don't, but I really did, and I'm looking forward to using them. I just wish I had more colors. And then I finally, yesterday, 2 days ago, swatched my Sioux colors. Now, these were the ones that I got for $9, and I got all of these for like $9. It was a sale on Amazon, but I've noticed that they're super cheap all the time. I had tried them on a couple pages and wasn't really impressed with them. And then I tried them in that mythographic and liked them. So I went ahead and swatched them here. And actually, while I was swatching, I was working on that page. And so these were the only pencils I had with me at the time. So that's why I used them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have used them in a mythographic. But then I found out that they were nice in a mythographic, probably because it's better paper. You know, the cheaper the pencil, it seems like the better the paper you need to make them look good, right? A really nice pencil looks good on any paper. So, swatching them in here made me like them more too. They handled this watercolor paper better than most of the pencils I swatched. But the pigment's pretty good. It's not as good as the better pencils. I mean, no. It's better than Black Widow, but that's probably the only set of pencils I have that it's better than. It's not as bright as the Spirifarben or the Colors. But they're nice, and the colors are nice. So I wouldn't make these your only set. If you just like to try out new things, yes. But if you're looking for budget, I wouldn't make these your budget pencils. I think both Spirifarben and Color do better jobs, so for budget pencils. But they worked out fine for, you know, in a pinch when that was all I had. So anyway, that was the pencil swatching. And then I have one more to show you. Why was the other... Wait a minute. Where are the Mungio? That is so weird. There's another... Did I put them in the other swatch? Oh yeah, because they're watercolored. That's why I did. The other book I have... I keep bumping it. The other swatch book I have is for anything that's a water medium. So we start off with, and this is where my swatching started, because I needed to get a handle on the bottles of acrylic paint I have. I didn't know what I had and what I didn't have. I don't have that many, but they're just sitting over here in a box. And I just kind of thumb through them, and I'm like, I don't know what I have. So I made this up. So I started with reds and pinks, and I just used a stencil. And so some of them are metallic and some are matte. Most are apple barrel. Some of these metallics are a cheap brand called Hissy Co. I don't know, knockoff name that I got a long time ago. There's a few folk arts in there. The Hissy Co is a set I got, and they're not very metallic. That's a pretty metallic, but most of them are more like this. Not very metallic. The best ones are the apple barrels. Beautiful. Here's some folk arts. And swatching this helped, and I left some empty because, you know, might get more. So I tried in each color section, I left some empty ones. So here's some apple barrel, folk art, apple barrel. The folk art is just not, is just, the folk art needs a lot of layers. It's very transparent. And so I actually threw away the folk art white I had because it was useless. It was so transparent. But that helped, swatching things helped me make up my mind. See all these, that's kind of pretty. That's a folk art rose gold. But these Hissicos are very bright. They're not great paint. I don't know how light fast they are, and they smell to high heaven like cheap paint does. But the apple barrel has some really neat colors. So I have my golds and bronzes. Here's some greens and blues. Look at these apple barrels. Oh, aren't they pretty? But then the folk art's down here, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's not as good a quality as apple barrel is. And then here's the whites and silvers and sparklies and stuff. Now, one thing folk art does have is spectacular glitter. So this is their glitterific. It's a clear glitter with holograms in it. And then their silver is clear with silver on it. So both of these need to be over something else. So does their Black Noir Extreme Glitter. That needs to, see, this would be really good on top of a black base, like a black alcohol marker base or a black Inktense base, and make that black shine. Here is the black I use for everything, Apple Barrel Pavement. I didn't get a very thick coat on there, but this is a matte black, and I use it for everything. It's my favorite black. These beiges and antique whites are new apple barrels I bought, and I love them. This is folk art wicker white, and it still looks like, I mean, it has kind of a shimmer to it, and it's very transparent. I don't know what's wrong with folk art. Here are the, okay, this is a set I have of little tiny tubes, and it's a box with a bazillion tubes of paint in it, and I never use it because I didn't know what colors I had. So finally, years later, I'm swatching it. And they're gorgeous. There are some of them that are really gorgeous. Now this is Arteza, and it's called acrylic pearl, but they're all metallic. And there are some pretty colors. There's some pretty golds. Some of them are more metallic than others. Like this red is not very metallic, neither is the orange. But then you get down here in the pink. They're very different. This one's very translucent. They're all gonna need at least 2 coats. Metallic paint always does. But once I got these, I'm like, oh, once I started swatching, I was like, oh my God, I have metallic paint and I didn't even realize it. I have metallic paint I'd use because look how pretty they are. Man, I have changed my views on swatching. Plus, I got kind of addicted to it. For me, it was very meditative to just draw these little boxes and then paint the colors in. And it felt so good. It felt like checking a box. It felt like I was organizing. Then I also have the same thing, a same box of little tiny tubes of Arteza gouache. Now, I didn't know anything about them either because they're in little tiny tubes, so I swatched them. And come to find out, I have a lot of colors I like. And this Arteza gouache is nice. It's thick, it's creamy. Even the silvery has some glimmer to it. Look at that mauve, isn't that beautiful? Their colors are beautiful. Look at that bronze. And there's some that are pearl and some that are metallic and others that are matte. And as I was going through this, I was finding colors I wanted to play with. So I would get distracted and take a color like this, Pearl Eucalyptus. I thought that was amazing, and use it on something. So I'd start a page. So it took me a long time to do this swatch because I kept getting distracted. I got distracted with these reds. Aren't they gorgeous? This is really pretty gouache. Look at that Viridian green. Whoa, that's so opaque. And that yellow ochre, oof. I had no idea. I had no idea I had these colors. I had never swatched them. So I didn't know. And I've had that set as long as I've had the metallic set, the metallic acrylic. So it's been years. And luckily, most of them were not opened, so they were still good. Then, look at that Prussian blue. Is that not gorgeous? So that's all the Arteza. And now that I have them swatched, I use them. Then I got, this is where I made a mistake in my swatching. This is the Mungio Aquarelle Pearl oil pastels. So these are oil pastels that are water soluble. So you can draw them on and then add water, or you can put water on the pastel itself with a paintbrush, but they're water soluble and they're fantastic. But I put them on here, let them dry, and then I just shut the book and I didn't fix them. And they got everywhere. So this is the messiest swatch sheet ever. I still can kind of tell what colors they are, but I really need to redo them and fix them. Because I don't know if that's really dark ochre because it has a lot of other colors it has black got on it, it looks like, or something got on it. They all just kind of melted together and they're still coming off. So yeah, this was a mess. But and it doesn't show off how beautiful these colors are. They're absolutely beautiful. Love them. So then, this is something that I haven't hauled with you yet either. These are Graby watercolors. Now, I bought a little set from Black Friday just because I love the Graby acrylic pens. And I love Graby's mission. If you read their mission on their site, they're all about mental health and mental health stability and awareness, and it's fantastic. So I bought this little, I don't know, I think it's 24, and the colors blew me out of the water. They were so, look at some of these. They were so vibrant, so opaque, so beautiful. And they're watercolors. They're just heavily pigmented. And they come in little tiny pans. I don't have it sitting near me. Little tiny. They come in what they call a travel size. And they're little tiny pans. But they take very little water. And they go on so pigmented that they're going to last. And I liked them so much that I turned around and got back on Amazon and bought the biggest set they had because it was still on sale for Black Friday. So I do have this small set has duplicates in the large set, and I put that set aside now, and I'm just going to work out of the big set. Because look at these colors. They're beautiful watercolors. The way they kind of spread, and I mean, this is one coat just with a lot of water. Look at those grays. They're just very, very pretty. Looks like I stuck my fingers in some of them. Look at how opaque some of those are. Look at the metallics. Now, the large set comes with metallics and also with some neons in there. And I was having a hard time getting the right amount of water, so my swatch sheet's not very even. Some are more opaque than others. Look at that fluorescent. They've got a fluorescent in every color. And the metallics are great. I just think they're great. The metallic black and the metallic gray are really fun. They're almost granulating. And so is the metallic deep green. And look at these beautiful colors. And it's so fun to use because it's super pigmented. It's really fun to get it on your brush, and it's kind of thick. It's kind of in between a watercolor and a gouache, actually. It's kind of like a Tombi, a Gansai Tombi. It's a little bit like that. And all these umbers, I just fell in love with them. So these are the watercolors that I've been using lately. I like them as much as I like my roses. So, and they're very affordable, even not on sale. They're very affordable, I think. So I wanted to support that company, and I have my Rosa watercolors, and that's it. So, yeah, I got those. So now I have enough watercolors because I have a few of these special ones. Now here's the Gansai Tombi granulating. We've all heard about them. We absolutely love them. It's 5 colors. Here's the Aurora red, and here's the Aurora pink, and the Aurora orange. So see, they granulate with blue. They've got some blue in them. I use these a lot. Then they have the Aurora blue, which is the one I use the most probably, and the Aurora violet. This was on the background of that rooster. Aren't they gorgeous? And then to go along with them, I have the graphite colors from Kuretake, and these I use just as much. I love that smoky, dingy, dirty look. It's grungy. I love it. They don't have names, they just have numbers. So here's 230, 240. This is like a burgundy, and this is like greens. Oh, this one, is that not just a beautiful deep dark forest green? This is a great one for stormy skies, as is this one. This is a blue, and this is more of a blue gray, and this is more of a warm gray. These graphites are a lot of fun. It's 4, 5, 6 colors. So I've used this one probably the most. Look at that violet, how that shines. It's almost fluorescent. Yeah, those are beautiful watercolors. I highly recommend both of these kits. You'll use them a lot. And then here are the Tombis that I have. I only have the Art Nouveau set. Now, I had some problems with my water. I think my water was dirty. So some of these got really weird. And don't show how pretty this set is. So I don't know if I'll maybe just glue this together and then do it somewhere else in the book. But, because this set is super pretty, but my swatching is really kind of messy. But, I mean, there are some beautiful colors. They're a muted set, and they're supposed to be Art Nouveau type colors. But there are some gorgeous colors. I mean, look at that vermilion, even though the swatch is messed up. Look at that billiard green. This alizarin crimson. Neat, huh? Yeah. The green gray. Yeah, I love these. I've done whole pictures with just these. I want the entire set of Tombi, because the Gansai Tombi is my favorite consistency. It's thick like a gouache, but not so thick, and and when it dries like a watercolor, not where like a gouache kind of dries like an acrylic and has that chalky feel. Gansai Tombi doesn't. It dries more like a watercolor, but yet it's got the coverage of an opaque gouache. I think it's the perfect texture. But that's hard. That big set of Kuretake doesn't really ever go on sale. Okay, Ink Tense Paint Pan Pocket. Someone said, well, if you like ink tints and you want to use them for backgrounds, you should get the paint pans. So what did I do? I went on the used sites and I found it. This was so affordable on Mercari. I guess these paint pan palettes, these little pocket sets, aren't that popular. They aren't as popular because you cannot get ink tints very cheap at all. It's hard to get ink tints cheap. But this was pretty cheap. And this is ink tints, but in a pan, little pan. So this is there's a paint pan pocket set 1 and 2, I think. I don't think there's a third, but maybe. But look at that. It's ink tints in a paint. It's just, this is how you want to do backgrounds. Because then you just paint it on and you don't get the streaks. And look how smooth it goes on. No streaks at all. Oh, it's so pretty. I tell you, ink tints is my favorite medium now. And here, at the same time, these came they were bundled together. So I got the Derwent Metallic Paint Pan Pocket Set too. I would not recommend these. I really expected more for Derwent. These are basically paint with glitter in them, and the glitter falls out, as you can see. They're not metallic. They're paint with glitter. And some of them are hardly any glitter at all. Look at that. You can't even really see any glitter in them. These are garbage. I can't see myself using these for anything, really. So no Derwent metallic paints, but ink tints, yes. Then I cannot afford metallic watercolors off of Etsy. And not knowing that I had all those metallic gouaches, I really wanted, coloring with Kay is who I want to be when I grow up. I want to have all those beautiful, but she uses such good paint. So I thought I'd try buy myself some, curated metallic watercolors. So I got the CSY brand, which has got the honey in it, and it's got the stuff that I like. It's on Amazon. It's supposedly handmade. It's not as good. I mean, like you see, it's very thin. Some of these, you couldn't even color the paper. It's got that, there's like a sophisticated metallic, and then there's like cheap metallic. You know what I mean? Like this is just like glitterific, crazy, but it's not sophisticated reflecting. It's not like the colors I see that Kay uses. It's very sophisticated. It's reflective, but it's not like trashy glitter, right? If there is such a thing. This kind of is. This looks like cheap glitter to me. It looks like you could rub it off. In fact, you can. Look, I just rubbed it off. Yeah, that sucks. Does this one rub off? Yeah, they all rub off. Shit. Well, these can't be used. So don't recommend CSY. Darn it, because they're within my budget, but not if it rubs off of watercolor paper. Good grief. And then we have the Himi gouaches. So this is a set I just got. That large set I got a while back. But I got the pastel set. Now, coloring. Doodle Robot has this, and she went on and on about it when she got it, and I knew they were beautiful. And Himi had a huge sale for Black Friday. Their stuff was really well priced. So I got this, and I did the same thing to it. And these are what the normal pan sizes are, where the ones I have are cut in half and has twice as many colors. This oily looking stuff is oily looking stuff. Oh, don't do that, Candice. And that's good. You just mix it up when you go to use it. But look, they're all still wet. I've only swatched them. I don't think I've even used these yet because I just got them. And sprayed the stuff on them and they stayed moist. Now these colors are beautiful. Doodles was right, but Doodles is always right. These are gorgeous. Let me shut them up real good because again, air is your enemy with these. And look at these colors. They're muted pastel colors. They're more muted than pastel, I think. But you need muted colors. As someone who is a bright colorist as I am, I don't often, you can't be all bright. You've got to have some muted too. Because otherwise your eye doesn't know where to look. So you got to have some mute in there too. And so these are really important colors for me. They help balance clown vomit coloring that I tend to do. These help balance it out. Very pretty. And they're, of course, you can't do anything with just this palette. It would be hard to do a page out of this, so these are a good supplement to the regulars. Then I've had the metallic set, but never swatched. And I had used it. I've used it, but not as much as I would once it's swatched. So I swatched it, and I like them. I like the metallic gouache. I think they're nice. Now, this is more sophisticated than the CSY. It's not metallic watercolor. It's not high-grade metallic watercolor. That would be the most sophisticated look. But this is more glittery, I think, than metallic. I don't know. It's kind of a combo. The word metallic is very loose interpretation. Everything that says metallic, I've got a ton of things that say metallic, and they're, or they say pearl. When it's really metallic, they say metallic. When it's really glitter, you just have to swatch it out. I love the gold. I'm always looking for a really good gold. I love this pearl white, this off-white. It's beautiful. And the pearl rose. See, it says Hemi Gouache metallic. All the names are pearl. I don't know. The pearl black I like a lot. I think these colors are great, and I think they're a great addition. Again, an addition. And then the swatch I'm doing now, which I've already shown you, the Hemi Gouache that I just finished. These colors are fantastic. Highly recommend Hemi Gouache. Highly recommend. And that is all that I've been doing. Now, last thing I want to end up with, so glad I break these videos up, is the buddies I'm currently working on. So I'm going to list all the buddies that I haven't finished yet. And if I don't list yours, please get hold of me. That means I've missed it somewhere. So I know that I still have Dark Fairies. I have a group, and we're doing the Mirror Mirror, the Evil Queen. I know I'm in the Circle of Nature group, Carolina Kobakowska, and we're doing the deer. I haven't done that yet. Brittany at Coloring Through It, are we doing the Pocket Pets and Tiny Worlds? Because I can't remember if we confirmed that or not, but I have it written down here to try to get to. I know Frozen Nightmares I'm working on. Dimensions group, we're doing the whales, and I haven't finished mine yet. Escape to Shakespeare group, the Good Wives and Warriors book, we're doing the dragon. In Wild Winter by Joseph Kattenbang, that mythographic, we're doing the Christmas baubles with the mice in them. Jen at Chromatic Dilettante, we're doing the Matchstick Mouse 25 Days. We're doing the page that's holding the baby. And let me double check if there's anything else that I have missed. I think that's it. If there is anything else I have missed that you think that I have committed to, please get hold of me, because it means it's not on my radar and I must have missed it somewhere. All right. Thank you for sticking with me through to the end. I enjoy my time with you so much. I love sharing what I'm doing with you and getting you involved with me in my little coloring journey, and I love coloring buddies with you. So I will be setting up January very soon. I've already got some ideas that I want to do for January. I am focusing next year on Nice Little Town and mythographics, which means I want to try to do, maybe not every month because I'll get burnt out, but one of those, probably mythographic every month for sure. And a Nice Little Town as often as I can. I really want to get into all those books because those are my biggest collections that have untouched books in them. So I'm going to be working out of untouched books first in those series. So I'm going to do the rainbow farting unicorn one out of the Rainbow Realms. If anybody wants to buddy that with me, I'll be doing that one in January. So that's the mythographic. That's at least one mythographic that I'm going to do in January. And I will be doing a Mythagoria out of Vengeful Forest. I don't think we've settled on a page yet. And Mouse Guard. My Mouse Guard group is going to do a page. So if you want to do a page in Mouse Guard, we've already got that picked. So if you want to do that, get a hold of me and I'll let you in a Mouse Guard. And those are and I'm sure we'll do something in the Dimensions group as well. We'll pick a page in the Dimensions group because those pages go by really fast and they're fun. And I'm sure I have a Matchstick Mouse planned with someone somewhere. And probably the Carolina Kubikowska. I may take a break 1 month from that, from those pages, just so I don't get burnt out, or I may not, I don't know. But those are sort of my ideas. I definitely, if I don't get the Tiny Worlds Pocket Pets, if I don't get to that one, I want to get to that one in January because it is a brand new book. And that's all I know right now. So take care of yourself because you're the only you we have. And if you don't take care of yourself, I will come kick your butt because I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.